Sri Lanka's most powerful news brand.
Good evening and welcome to the last edition of Weekend Primetime News for the year 2017. I'm Arundhati Mudannayak and let's take a look at the stories making headlines this evening.
President accepts responsibility of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party candidates. Take action against police officers who do not enact the law. A request from CAFE. Fire-ups at a storage facility in Orugodavatta. Public outrage over fake English institute. TRC raids an illegal radio channel in Dharaniyagala.
Now the stories in detail. Addressing several public rallies in Dibulagala, President Maithripala Sirisena gave assurances to the public regarding the candidates fielded by SLFP for the local government election.
Those who have been appointed are my representatives. I will ensure that there is a plan in place to guide them along the correct path. How many former local government chairpersons, including those in Polonnaruwa, were able to seek re-election? The chairman of the Dibulagala Pradesh Sabha was convicted in connection to fraud and corruption. 4 chairpersons in the Polonnaruwa district did not get a chance to seek re-election. As a country, over 50% have not been able to contest because they have been convicted of fraud and corruption. We will not allow the members of the new Pradesh Sabhas and urban councils to come down to this level. I accept that responsibility.
අපි මේ අලුතෙන් හදන ප්‍රාදේශ සභාවේ පත් වෙන සභාපතිවරු മന്ത്രിවරු ඒ තත්ත්වයට පත් වෙන්න අපි ඉඩ තියන්නේ නැහැ. මම ඒ වගකීම තදින්ම බාර ගන්නවා.
The president also engaged in a cordial discussion with the residents of Nuwaragala. Following the event, President Maithripala Sirisena travelled to the Siripur area in Polonnaruwa for another public rally.
If you read news reports and books of the past, you can recall how a certain individual celebrated his 100th jubilee. I cannot state these things at such forums. There was a degradation of ethics among the local politicians. I can clearly state that swift action will be taken against any member elected in February. If he or she is convicted of corruption, it does not matter which party they are from, be it the UNP or the SLFP. We will impose the maximum punishment and implement the law. I will create a group of ethical and law-abiding local government representatives. I will not allow them to do what happened in the past.
As the local government election race gathers momentum, the campaign is now in full swing. Here are some of the views being expressed in the political theatre.
The economy is stable today. Even with difficulty, we are using our revenue to repay our debts. We are moving forward. We do not simply cry and wait. We do not mourn about it. We began the change. There is more to be done moving forward. We need to bring in investments. We need to create jobs. We need to give people more and more training. The youth are asking us why we haven't been able to provide jobs as yet. We must say that we have just laid the foundation. We will bring in investments now and over the next 5 to 6 years. You will see major progress in these areas.
They robbed the central bank. Arjuna Mahendran distributed money to Ranil Wickremesinghe and all the UNP organizers across the country. They speak like saints today. They commenced investigations into theft carried out by others, but what they found was thievery of the UNPers. We will accept the responsibility for you. In 2018, by good means or bad, we will make Mahinda the Prime Minister of this country.
Ranil Wickremesinghe and the others were voted in to form this government, but they still haven't repaid the debts and they haven't caught a single thief. No one has been punished. So when they canvass for votes on the 10th of February, the people will say, repay the debts. What happened here? The government did not catch any thieves, but the thieves caught the government.
The Prime Minister always asks to go to the village. The ministers are now requesting for STF security to go to the villages.
We had the old rogues in the past and now we have new rogues. Both have gotten together to steal your money. Today the report of the commission which investigated the bond issue has been handed over to the President. The government has said that 3 special courts will be established. We challenge the government to take up the bond scam as the first case in these courts.
Speaking at a campaign rally held in Piliyandala today, MP Bandula Gunawardena either deliberately or otherwise mixed up the symbol of his party.
After 3 years of suffering and being downtrodden by the Yahapalana government, the election on the 10th of February will be the one where you can voice public opinion against the government by voting for the beetle leaf.
මේ පෙබරවාරි 10 වෙනිදාට බුලත් කොළයට කතරේ ගහලා තමුන්නාසෙලා ජයග්‍රහණය කරන මැතිවරණ බුලත් කොළේ
I said beetle leaf to see what the response would be.
මොකද්ද ප්‍රතිචාරය
The Centre for a Free and Fair Election or CAFE convened a media briefing in Galle today.
There is plenty of election propaganda present in areas such as Dikvella, Galle and Nilvella. These forms of propaganda can also be spotted along the Galle-Matra main road. If individuals are deliberately refraining from removing such illegal propaganda, the Elections Commission should consider them as individuals who are disregarding election law. These are also in violation of Article 4 of the 17th Amendment to the Constitution. We call on the Elections Commission to take action against those who do their job in this regard.
Some may think we are acting on the instructions of someone. All I can say is do something wrong or get someone else to do it and see what happens.
A group of young men and women who claim to have been done an injustice through a private company in Kolpiti, which promised them employment and education overseas, submitted a file to the Criminal Investigations Department today.
Protests were ignited regarding this foreign employment and education organization in Kolpiti recently, following allegations that they had broken promises and defrauded their clients of their money.
We submitted a file to the CID today on behalf of all the students who have been treated unjustly by Lanka. The youth have lodged more than 50 complaints over the past 2 to 3 weeks at the 3 police stations. They say that the Lanka company has sent over 8,000 people overseas already for education and employment. We asked them to show us at least 500 of these people who have been sent overseas by Lanka. During a serious investigation, Minister Lakshman Kiriyalla said the students who have been done an injustice should complain to the police and the CID branch. We have done this today.
CID branch වල පැමිණිලි දාන්න කියලා අද ඒක අපි කරා 2016 අප්‍රේල් මාසයේ තමයි.
In April 2016 I paid Lanka 120,000 rupees. They said I would receive my visa in 3 months. The chairman of Lanka called me and asked me to pay the balance 430,000 rupees. On the 15th of July, I paid this balance amounting to a total of 550,000 rupees. I was working in the hotel sector and I sold my motorcycle and everything else in order to go overseas. On the 21st of February 2017, they sent me to Malaysia, but nothing was as they promised.
හැබැයි මුකුත් කියපු විදියට තිබ්බේ නැහැ. සේරම වංචාවක් වුණේ.
Meanwhile, a student registered with his organization visited the Lanka police yesterday to lodge a complaint. I paid a sum of 260,000 rupees and submitted my original degree certificate and educational certificates to Lanka in order to travel to Japan. It has been 9 months. They have not returned my degree certificate to me. Filing a complaint with the police, I received 190,000 rupees of the money I had paid, but my degree certificate has not been returned. I have visited the police on 3 occasions now and wasted my time. I came to the station at 9:30 this morning and they have not come here to face the complaint. While a case against this organization is being heard in court, the chairman of the organization was previously arrested and released on bail. While several complaints have been lodged with the Kolpiti and Lanka police stations regarding the issue, the complainants have expressed displeasure at the pace at which the police investigation is progressing.
About 4,000 scholarship students from Ratnapura and Avisavella were severely inconvenienced today when they were to sit for an examination following an English language course conducted by a private organization. Parents claimed the organization had misled them and their children and had used the course to fraudulently earn money.
The organisation in question, which claimed to be affiliated to the government, launched an English language course for grade 5 scholarship students 3 months ago, with classes being held in Ratnapura and Navisavela towns. Parents say the organisation had promised a range of benefits for students who took the course and passed the examination.
Letters were distributed among students from grades 2, 3, 4 and 5 by the school principals. Teachers had also been present at the lectures carried out by this organisation. They charged 700 rupees per class and classes were held over 3 months. We received a paper requesting us to pay the fees for the examination today. Since the account number was private, we did not pay the money.
They say that following this, all the students who had arrived for the examination were transported by bus to a location where private tuition is provided in Ratnapura.
As soon as we arrived at the location, they began collecting the money. For more than half an hour, the 3,000 students and parents who had come there waited. We did not see any test paper. When parents asked questions, they failed to answer. So we brought them to the Aliagada police station and handed them over to the OIC.
When News First made inquiries, the police media spokesperson said the problem was resolved after the organisation repaid the 650 rupees charged from each child for the examination. These children arrived at the Susilode Pirivani in Dehiyovira today to sit for this examination. While prior notice had been given since the examination was not held, students and parents were severely inconvenienced. They said they had informed the Avisavela police after suspicions arose when the money was collected from them.
When we came here, there were about 400 or 500 people in the queue to pay money. It dawned on the parents then that there is some sort of scam happening here. When we questioned the teacher and the person collecting the money, they said they didn't know anything about it.
Tensions flared between the parents and course officials after the Avisavela police arrived on the scene.
If you have paid money and if money has not been returned, then please come to the police station and every one of you can submit your complaint. You were given a receipt, bring that with you. Do not let this go. Other parents may be trapped like this in the future. The seal said Presidential Advisor Sarath Sandanayaka. All of the letters we received after that first letter did not even have a name on them.
When News First made inquiries from Special Presidential Projects Director and SLFP organizer for the Ahaligood electorate, Sarath Sandanayaka, he denied any involvement in such a course or examination. 2 individuals have been arrested on suspicion in connection with this incident and are to be produced before the Avisavela court tomorrow. When the police act swiftly in the face of such irregularities and take the appropriate measures, it is to be commended by the public. Similarly, the police and competent authorities have a responsibility to act swiftly in the manner of the private organisation in Kopiti, which has allegedly defrauded a large group of youth.
Taking a look at our developing story for tonight. Recently, News First has brought to light several key points contained in the report of the inquiry into the Valikadu prison incident in 2012 and the deaths of several inmates. The report confirms that 27 inmates were killed during the incident. Who should be held accountable for the Valikadu prison incident?
We know very well that the armed forces come under the President, the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces as well as the Minister of Defence, and then the power is vested with the Defence Secretary. They select a person by name of Manjushri first. They took him as well as 2 others by names of Kapila and Mala. Those 3 were murdered first. This document says that the strike force was similar to one that would be used when attacking a terrorist camp.
I took 12 weapons into my custody. I had hidden it under my carpet. There was no other place to hide it. An inmate known as Marlon came with another prisoner, pointed a weapon at us, and forcefully took those weapons away. Later, I remember a prisoner named Neville pushed me and jailer Uday Shanta under a desk and covered us. If not for this, we would certainly have been shot.
At what time were these weapons returned?
The army officer handed it over to former jailer Nana Akkar on the same day, following the correct procedure.
It was 4 of these weapons that were found near the bodies of the dead inmates in the morning the following day.
I was there when the firearms were handed over to jailer Nanayakara. At that time, a certain officer from the prisons department took these 4 weapons away. That person is still serving at the department. Sudha Singha and Vijay Ratna were with Nanayakara. They are the ones who handed over the weapons.
So we do not need to specifically say that there is no way that the dead inmates who were already dead by morning could have taken these weapons at 7:47 in the morning.
A key point here is that there is a court report which states that the 3 deceased individuals had not used these firearms.
There has been talk of selective assassinations and a list of names. It's also said that people dressed in civil attire were here.
Yes, there were. I remember it well. He was wearing blue shorts and a yellow t-shirt. The officials had identified them as inmates. When it comes to the names, you can clearly see in the report that the name Rangajiva has been mentioned. That group went directly to the chapel building. Kapila, Manjushri and Malan were taken. Kalusara was taken outside the main office.
Who took them?
Army officers. Kalusara was taken in front. When we looked later, Kalusara was dead. When I was in the H ward, there were army officers here as well. They had a list with them. They asked for Siam. In the evening, I gave a statement to the CID. I do not know the officer. He said, "Sir, we have come here to wash away the sins of the government," and asked me to give my statement with caution.
Steady local news. The Sunday Times reported today that the Foreign Exchange Act could change the dynamics of the economy of the country.
Quoting a senior central bank official, the newspaper article says the new act has been introduced to further liberalize the capital inflows and simplify the processes associated with current account transactions and foreign currency and rupee accounts. The report notes that the foreign exchange management function in Sri Lanka was exercised by the central bank on behalf of the government. The new Foreign Exchange Act now recognizes authorized dealers, restricted dealers and dealers for a specific purpose as being permitted to deal in foreign exchange. Speaking to Newsfirst on an earlier occasion, the former chairman of the Ceylon Chamber of Commerce, Chandra Jayaratna, said most of the penalties stipulated in the act are subjected to the minister's concurrence. Civil activists question whether the people can place their trust in the ministers.
When the act confers immense powers on the minister and on the political elite, that is akin to entrusting the hen coop to the wolves. We have had such experiences. Given the political culture in this country, there are grave suspicions regarding the political elite. When we consider their behavior and the examples they have set, there are serious questions to be asked.
As per the new act, a person who brings into the country undeclared money worth $1 million will only have to pay 1% as a fee. If the value of the undeclared amount is over $1 million, that 1% too will be waived according to the new act.
Now the Foreign Exchange Act, see what happened? I mean, by legislation, for the first time, charges against the minister was dropped. Yeah. Now that is reprehensible now. No conscionable person, no right-thinking person would ever agree to that, and that was done putting wool over the eyes of the public. And how did this happen? How did this happen? And no one knew. No one knew. Now people are talking about various things, but you know, originally they should have protested. Definitely. And then also the question of sovereignty.
How was this act brought in? This act was adopted undemocratically. This act was adopted with very few members present in Parliament. They formed a majority with the few who were present and then adopted this act hastily. We call on the government to reconsider this. We call on the President to call on Parliament to take this up when it reconvenes in 2018 and correct this mistake. We say to the President, those who are steering the economy of this country should not be allowed to amend legislation as per their whims and fancies. As citizens, we placed our trust in the President on the 8th of February 2015. And as citizens, we believe that the President can take the necessary decisions when it comes to the direction of the economy of this country.
කරවීම සම්බන්ධයෙන් තීන්දුව තීරණ ගැනීමට.
A fire erupted this afternoon at a storage facility located in close proximity to the Orugudawatha flyover.
According to the police, the fire erupted at around 12:45 p.m. The Colombo Fire Services Department noted that 6 fire trucks were dispatched to contain and douse the blaze. The fire was contained with the support of firefighters from the Colombo Municipal Council, Kotte Municipal Council as well as the police and area residents. The Vallampetty police has launched further investigations into the incident.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe attended a public rally held in the Hatton area today.
The rally was held at the D.K. Veeratunga Cultural Centre in Hatton. Members representing the UNP and the Tamil Progressive Alliance were present at the occasion.
A blood donation camp organised by Museus College, Colombo was held at the school premises today.
The event was the brainchild of Museus College Chairman Ajitha De Soisa. Teachers, prefects, students and their parents took part in the blood donation camp. The 2017 Museus Teachers Meeting was also held today, and a number of teachers were felicitated for 25 years of service to the school.
We received a tremendous response from the students, parents, alumni as well as their family members. As you can see, the bids are full and there are people waiting to come in. As students of Museus College, which is one of the leading Buddhist schools in the country, this is a very special occasion for us. I am also happy to announce that the 2016 and 2017 batch of prefect will be presenting medical equipment worth ₹1 million to the Apeksha Hospital. I believe that we are able to do these things because of the values inculcated in us by the school. In a world like this, I believe the small step taken by us today as students of Museus College and as future leaders will benefit us greatly. I am of the firm belief that students who are educated through our school will never go on to engage in fraud or corruption and would rather work to make this world a better place for everyone.
Officials of the Telecommunications Regulatory Commission raided an illegal radio station that was operating in the Araniagal area today. The TRC notes that they were able to pinpoint the origin of the radio station using the latest technology at their disposal.
The raid was conducted with the assistance of the CID and 4 persons were arrested in connection to operating the illegal radio station. During the arrest, officials also took into custody a stock of equipment used for broadcasting purposes. Operating a radio station and using transmissions equipment without proper licenses issued by the TRCSL is a punishable offence under the Sri Lankan Telecommunications Act No. 2 of 1991.
In just a few hours, we in Sri Lanka will bid farewell to 2017 and welcome the new year. 2018 has already dawned in several major cities across the Eastern Hemisphere. We leave you tonight with a collection of these stunning images. On behalf of the Newsfirst team, here's wishing you a happy and a blessed 2018. Good night.